With the
Then guys, welcome to another top 10 2022 list upcoming anime series.
incredible year for anime.
俺はなぜ命を懸けてこんな世界を守ったんだろうか。
In the coming months, there are a ton of new isekai and fantasy set to be released, but it can be hard to find the best to watch. Welcome back to Animeology. Today, we've gone through and created a list of some of the greatest isekai and fantasy anime set to be released in the near future. These brand new upcoming anime are some that you do not want to miss out on.
Number 10, I am quitting you.
A brilliant new fantasy series that started off back in 2017 as a highly successful novel that is still running to this day. The community loved the manga adaptation, and we are finally getting a chance at an anime that is set to release in April 2022. A pretty unique and fresh take on the epic adventure type story. We follow one of the strongest heroes on the planet, Leo, after he's actually saved the entire world. But even though Leo is the greatest hero to ever live and has literally saved every single person on the planet, the world is now peaceful and has no need for a fighter or warrior, and Leo finds himself quite unwanted by the inhabitants of the world he saved. Considering he is way too overpowered and way too strong, Leo is exiled. There is literally only one place a powerful hero like him can actually find work: the Demon King's army. Literally, the army that he had just defeated in order to save the planet. There are a lot of problems with the army, from way too much work, heavy financial problems, no morale, the list goes on. We slowly follow Leo as he attempts to improve the Demon King's army in order to help it reach new heights.
Number 9, Bubble.
お前にも聞こえるのか。
Created by an all-star crew with experience working on some of the biggest anime of all time, Bubble is said to be one of the greatest anime films released in a very long time. Although the not action-packed slogfest that was Demon Slayer Mugen Train, Bubble won't be shattering any box office records anytime soon, but instead chooses to tell a very heartfelt and interesting emotional tale set across the city of Tokyo. We learn of a world where gravity is actually broken. A number of bubbles appear and start messing with gravity. This leaves Tokyo in a weird place, filled with young people with nowhere else to turn, and home to a dangerous new sport, with parkour teams battling each other, jumping from building to building. We follow Hibiki, a young ace parkour player that has little regard for his own life, almost dying, but saved by Uta, a girl with mysterious powers. We soon begin to unravel a lot about both these well-written characters and learn a lot about this interesting fantasy world.
Number 8, Splendid Night in Another World.
弱きを助け、強きをくじく。無自覚、世直しいたします。
A very long-running novel and manga series, we are finally getting an anime adaptation that we can hardly wait for. Skeleton Knight is set to be absolutely brilliant, with a lot of awesome story arcs to draw from. We follow a gamer that wakes up and finds himself in the in-game body he uses when playing online in this basic isekai opening. Looking into a river, Ark is shocked when he realizes his face is that of a skeleton due to the special avatar skin he liked to use. The gamer decides to hide his really striking appearance and searches for other people to learn more about what exactly happened that teleported him to this awesome isekai world. Within no time, the gamer jumps to the rescue of two women and slays their attackers. The noblewoman and her maid introduce themselves, and the Skeleton Knight escorts the ladies, and our hero's journey in this awesome isekai world has truly begun.
Number 7, Goodbye Tanglish.
Another awesome new anime film that is really looking to push the boundaries on high quality anime. Goodbye Donglies is brought to us by some high profile and world renowned names across the anime sector. The story follows two boys by the name of Roma and Toto. These are the Donglies boys. Kicking off with Roma leaving Tokyo to the countryside and befriending Toto. The two soon become inseparable, but are eventually split up again due to school. In the summer of their first year of high school, they meet a new character by the name of Drop that invites them to view the world from above. The story really starts to twist and turn in a very heavy way that starts to really test the boys' friendship. all across the world and facing off against insurmountable odds in a life-changing journey that culminates in Iceland.
Number 6, Call of the Night.
An interesting blend of both the supernatural with some lighthearted romance and comedy elements behind it. This is a relatively new manga series whose huge hype led to this upcoming July 2022 anime release date. Set in a world filled with humans and vampires, we follow Ko Yamori, a 14-year-old high school boy that is insanely bored with his mundane life. Ko literally cannot sleep and cannot find any satisfaction with his daily life and stops going to school entirely. Wandering the streets late at night, Ko comes across a mysterious girl by the name of Nazuna. We learn that she's actually a vampire, and Nazuna shows Ko the fun and joy of being a night walker. Ultimately, Ko really wants to become a vampire himself, but in order to do that, he has to fall in love with her first. In the meanwhile, Ko stays with Nazuma in an abandoned building while she sucks its blood while he sleeps.
Number 5, Tuchukuni no Shoujo.
僕たちと同じ黒の子ではないのかい
Dark fantasy is easily our favorite genre of anime. Combine that with some strong mystery elements and a beautifully written and interwoven plot, and we expect this to be one of the best new anime releases out in 2022. We follow Shiva, an eccentric and outlandish young girl, left alone in a forest filled with dangerous magical beasts that could hurt her with a single touch. She meets a nice beast that is actually really helpful and calls this beast Teacher. This teacher tells Shiva that the aunt that abandoned her is going to return to save her. Shiva attempts to leave the forest into an area filled with humans, but the human soldiers assume Shiva is a monster in disguise. Shiva manages to break free but is later touched by a monster and is a curse inflicted on her, and she soon finds herself turning into a monster herself.
Number 4, Spy X Family.
殺し屋だと見抜かれてしまいます。
With the rapidly approaching April 2022 release, we absolutely cannot wait for this awesome spy action comedy series to finally get released. With an awesome manga series and a lot to draw from, Spy X Family follows a spy that has to build a fake family for his latest mission. But he doesn't realize that this new fake family of his consists of a daughter and a woman that are mind readers and an assassin. Although our MC is an insanely talented and intelligent spy as well as a master of disguise, he is no match for the professional assassin that is his fake wife. And compared to his new fake daughter that can literally read the minds of other people and is the only one that actually knows what everyone else is thinking. Awesome group chemistry with some great setup for a lot of interesting plots and story arcs. This is an anime series we absolutely cannot wait to check out.
Number 3, Uzumaki.
This is going to be an anime series unlike any other. Starting off as a manga from as early as 1999, Uzumaki has struggled to be adapted into an anime series. A strong dark fantasy series with intense psychological horror themes and indications of the supernatural. Uzumaki focuses on the odd occurrences across a fictional city that is cursed with a number of horrifying and chilling supernatural events involving spirals. With powerful imagery and strange ongoings, Uzumaki is going to be a difficult story to be told through anime form. But such a critically acclaimed work and one that is legitimately scary and terrifying, we absolutely cannot wait for this anime to get released. But with an October 2022 release date, we still have a pretty long wait ahead of us.
Number 2, The Execution and Ways of Life.
An interesting core storyline and backdrop with some well thought out characters. This series started off as an intimate and well received light novel series, soon published into a manga series and now set to be an anime that we can hardly wait to get into. A world in which wanderers enter our world from a foreign and strange realm, bringing with them some insanely powerful abilities by the name of Pure Concept. These powers are absolutely insane, and many lost control and brought unbelievable levels of disaster to the world. Legitimately huge disasters rock the entire world. These powerful users are now considered taboo and are feared by most of the world. We follow Minnow, an executioner that is tasked with destroying lost ones. We find her on the tail of Akari Tokido, attempting to murder her but failing to do so. Akari is able to reverse her death after being killed, and the executioner has no choice but to stay with her and find a way to eliminate this lost one. An absolutely brilliant premise and the perfect selling for a budding romance to be built upon. With some interesting backdrops and some intimate settings, this seinen series will definitely take a more mature approach, and we cannot wait to check it out.
Number 1. Chainsaw Man.
An interesting blend of comedy horror with some heavy dark fantasy elements and some brilliant action scenes. Chainsaw Man is set to be just as epic as we hope it should be. From a fantastically twisted manga, Chainsaw Man brings a fresh new perspective on comedy and horror that we honestly cannot wait for. Devils in Chainsaw Man are born from fears. These devils are often quite dangerous and uncaring, with power levels according to how much fear all humans have of it. That being said, humans can actually form contracts with these fears to use their powers, alongside devil hunters that specialize in hunting down and capturing these devils. With some brilliant storytelling, a well thought out lore, incredibly violent scenes, and a fantastic sense of dark humor, there are few anime quite like Chainsaw Man that we are this excited to see.